Well, good morning. I'm Deb Stavita, a member of your parish committee. Is this working? Can you peek? Okay, good. We're glad you're here this morning. It's so nice to start my week with all of you. So welcome, and a special welcome to any visitors we might have. Anyone online too, welcome to you. Our mission is to build community, to search for meaning, deepen our spirituality, and make a better world. To learn more about First Parish or Unitarian Universalism, I say that backwards every time, please visit uuwayland.org or contact Kate Holland, Director of Lifespan Education and Engagement. And I wish she had a shorter title. Please also reach out to any members of the parish committee or to Reverend Stephanie if you have ideas or questions about First Parish. A big thanks to all our service participants whose name are in the order of service. Please note that Middlesex County currently has a medium risk, so we recommend that people mask. Any service participants, especially Stephanie, without a mask means they've tested negative. Some people might deserve a hand for that. Okay, yeah. We thought she was immune. Nope, got her too. Anyway, so please take a moment to say hello to your neighbors and wave to the front camera. Anyone to greet this morning? Okay, and before I start, I have yet another shameless plug for you. The auction, what else? I feel like I'm on a band tour. Oh, sorry, I feel like I'm on, I'm just too short. How about this? All right, that's better? Okay. Anyway, I feel like I'm on a band tour or something where I'm hawking my latest album or the book I wrote. I've done neither, but I am hawking the auction. It's amazing what people have donated from this community. So you really want to be online. If you haven't gotten online yet, look, because some of our items are closing out soon. And we're going to have new ones coming up in the next week or two. So please sign up for the auction. It's a great time. Even if you don't want anything, just sign up and come. We'd love to have you here for a little event. And hopefully by spring we'll be at low and everyone will be testing negative, including Stephanie. All righty. Thank you. Sorry about the mic.
If you meet the Buddha on a road, get rid of him. Words probably never spoken in this church before. This 9th century teaching, which I slightly altered for our younger audience, teaches us humility. It is more about ego reduction than actually getting rid of Siddhartha, Shakyamuni Buddha. It teaches us where we are attached. As we continue to explore our Buddhist teachings and our Buddhist influence and the Buddhist religion here at First Parish, I challenge us to think of this. For those of us on the spiritual path, attachments are what we examine. And when we suffer, it actually becomes our teacher because we see what we are still attached to and what we need to shed. Buddhism is not about a mountain climb, sitting at the top and viewing what is down below. Buddhism is about a journey to the valley. It sees the flower and the compost as one. Thich Nhat Hanh, who we'll hear a lot about today, says, without mud, there is no lotus. Without mud, there is no lotus. Pema Chodron says, to be fully alive, fully human, and completely awake is to be continually thrown out of the nest. Every day, we are thrown out of the nest. Buddhism is not about becoming a good Buddha. Buddhism is not about becoming a good Buddhist. Buddhism is about becoming a good Buddha. Thich Nhat Hanh challenges us and says the next Buddha might actually be a community, one that is awake. I invite us now to awaken. Now I invite the Jorgensen family to light our chalice, a symbol of Unitarian Universalism, and to lead us in our covenants and promises we make to each other as our community.
With open hearts and open minds, we gather to search for a meeting, to care for one another, and to work together for a better world. Thank you.
Come sing with me, and I'll bring you hope. Let us rise in body or spirit and turn to hymn 346.
Good morning. I'm Laurel Whitehouse, and my pronouns today, at least, are she, her, hers. Today's story is a traditional Buddhist tale. Buddhism is a religion that has several branches, and the branch we're speaking about today is Zen Buddhism. Once, there was a Zen Buddhist master who lived at the top of a tall mountain in Japan. The master was so wise that many people traveled long distances to learn and study with the master. This is the story of one eager student who really, really wanted to learn from the master.
Oh, Master, it has been such a long journey, but it is so delightful to finally be with you. I got lost 5 times struggling up this giant mountain, but wow, the view is fabulous here. Oh, well, gosh, I'm so excited I forgot to introduce myself. I've written out everything I want to say and ask to make the best use of our time. I'm Hirotu, and I've studied for years to learn the way of Zen. Now, I want to learn from you, O Master, the deeper secrets that only you can teach. I have so many questions to ask you. So many questions to ask you. There's so much I don't yet understand, although I've studied very hard for such a long time. But I am certain that you can make it all clear to me. You have no idea how much I long for that clarity. I'm so grateful that you have devoted your life to teaching others so that I might study with you. Of course, I already know how to meditate. I do it many times a day. I sit on my cushion in the lotus position, and I say the Lotus Sutra over and over and over. It's important for me to do it just right, and I practice and practice until I can say the words perfectly. I know that it is necessary to get every last thing right in order to get the most meaning out of the whole process. I already know how to follow the middle way, so that I balance the flesh and the spiritual. Of course, it's key to keep everything balanced. I'm very good at that. I have a chart that I follow on what to eat and when and where to meditate and what mantras to chant and everything so that I don't get too much or too little. These things I know. But I feel I'm missing some deeper truth, some wisdom that keeps me from being truly enlightened. Once you share that with me, I know I will be fully enlightened at last. And so it is so vital to me that I become enlightened that you have no idea how much I want that, how hard I've worked towards that goal, and how long I've been striving to reach that perfect state when I will be released from earthly suffering at last, at last. I have read about the 4 noble truths and done my best to follow the 8-fold path of right living. And of course, I know about the 5 moral precepts that the Buddha shared, and I try to follow them. So that's why I've journeyed all this way and climbed this difficult mountain and come to be with you to learn. But Master, the cup is over full. No more tea will go in.
The cup, like your mind, is overfull of opinions and speculations. How can I show you the way of Zen until you empty your cup and make room? And now our children will exit through the rear, I guess, for their class. Oh, as we sing, that's important. We shall sing them out.
Good morning. Today's reading is an excerpt from the book, You are here, discovering the magic of the present moment, by the Zen priest that Patrick mentioned, Thich Nhat Hanh. The heart of Buddhist practice is to generate our own presence in such a way that we can touch deeply the life that is here and available in every moment. We have to be here for ourselves. We have to be here for the people we love. We have to be here for life and all its wonders. The message of our Buddhist practice is simple and clear. I am here for you. In daily life, we are often lost in thought. We get lost in regrets about the past and fears about the future. We get lost in our plans, our anger, and our anxiety. At such moments, we cannot really be here for ourselves. We are not really here for life. Practice makes it possible for us to be free, to rid ourselves of these obstacles, and establish ourselves firmly in the present moment. Practice gives us methods we can use to help us live fully in the present. Practice makes it possible to say, I am here for you. The Buddha said, the past no longer exists and the future is not yet here. There is only a single moment in which we can truly be alive, and that is the present moment. Being present in the here and now is our practice.
May we be filled with loving kindness. If we could please open our tale hymnals to number 1031. And as we go through this song, the first time through, may I be filled with loving kindness. Our second time, may you be filled with loving kindness. And our third time, may we be filled with loving kindness. Let us rise in body or in spirit and be filled with loving kindness. Thich Nhat Hanh teaches us, please do not think we must be solemn in order to meditate. In fact, to meditate, we need to smile a lot. Thai, as his students call him, teaches smile meditation. And I invite us today for a smile meditation. He teaches us that we hold what he calls a half smile, something that we can feel. Maybe not everyone can quite see it, but we know we are smiling. So I invite us, as I share a few words for us to ponder, practice a smile meditation. Breathing in, I feel myself as a mountain, and I hold my half smile. Breathing out, I feel whole. Breathing in, I see myself as water. Breathing out, I reflect things as they are. And I continue to hold my half smile. Breathing in, I am filled with loving kindness. And breathing out, I am free. Just for a moment, let us hold our half smile. It is now time for our joys and sorrows.
Good morning. My name is Eric Felton, and I am a lay minister of this congregation. This is a time in our service we set aside to share our joys and sorrows. In both our sharing and our support given by our witness, we affirm our covenant to care for one another. To begin, I will light a candle of sorrow for the continued trauma of gun violence in our nation, including those killed this week at Michigan State and in Tate County, Mississippi. I will also light a candle of joy for the families who are able to enjoy some extra time together during February break this week. If you wish to share, please add your sorrow to the chat. I have my phone here. Or you can share in person by coming to the front. As a reminder, you can also submit a joy and sorrow ahead of service at the back. And the sharing of joys and sorrows will not be part of the recording on YouTube. I will light one final candle as a reminder of all the joys and sorrows we hold in our hearts.
Each week, we are invited to support our community in person or online, to participate in the practice of sustaining us and what we do here. As you are able, please give in person as the ushers come by, or if you like, online at uuwayland.org, donate. We also have, for the young amongst us, the app, or you can text online as well. You can text directly a donation, and we greatly receive your offerings. Thank you.
There at the table, with my head in my hands, a column of numbers I just could not understand. You said, add these together, carry the two. Now you can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing. At a cold winter station, breathing into our gloves, it would change me forever, leaving for God knows what. You carried my bags, you said I'll wait for you. You can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing. Late at night I called, and you answered the phone. The worst, it had happened, and I did not want to be alone. You quietly listened. You said, we'll see this through. You can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing. Here we stand breathless and pressed in hard times, hearts hung like laundry on backyard clotheslines. Impossible just takes a little more time. From the muddy ground comes a green volunteer. In a place we thought barren, new life appears. Morning will come whistling some comforting tune for you. You can do this hard thing. You can do this hard thing. It's not easy, I know, but I believe that it's so. You can do this hard thing.
I just want to first say thanks to Patrick for stepping in. I wasn't sure how I'd feel today. And if you don't know, he has a background as a religious professional. And I'm really grateful that he was able, I figured I could do one thing today, which was preach. And also, thank you, Emily. I've listened to that song so many times in the last few years, and it's the first time I've heard it live. Thank you. And also thanks to everyone who sent me emails of care and concern over the last couple weeks as I fell victim. Yes, I am not invincible to COVID, it turns out. Both my son and my partner also ended up testing positive, so they're really happy with me. But we've made it through. A few more days of masking for some folks, but. For 3 years now, we have done many hard things as we have lived through a global pandemic. With the Biden administration announcing the upcoming end of the COVID emergency on May 11, I have again been reflecting on all that we have been through and where we are now. Or better yet, I've been wondering when we are. Time has been such a funny thing these past years, hasn't it? Do we even know when we are? As we heard in the reading from Thich Nhat Hanh, paying attention to when we are is a central part of Buddhist practice. And yet the simplicity of being present to the moment we are in can be so very hard. Too often we are instead like the student in the story we heard earlier, with an overfull mind distracting us from the present moment. We can be lost in our thoughts of what has been or what may be coming next. We can be lost to when we are. Past, present, and future blurring one into another in an overflowing stream. So just sit, the Buddhist teacher counsels. Be here. I am breathing in. I am breathing out. Be here in this moment. Sit. Be. Breathe. Here, now. Buddhism also teaches us the idea of impermanence, that nothing remains static, but everything changes. These two ideas of impermanence and being present to the now are related. In an ever-changing stream of time, we only ever have the now. As the Buddha said, the past no longer exists. The future is not yet here. From the beginning of the pandemic, we all quickly learned what it meant that the future is not yet here, as our plans for the near future evaporated due to closures and restrictions. Indeed, over the past few years, I think we've all learned to hold the future more lightly than before. What we expect to be may in fact need to be changed, rescheduled, or adapted. In a real sense, we have learned to be less attached to the future. But what of the past? Has the pandemic taught us anything of the past? The past no longer exists, says the Buddha. I wonder if we are still wrestling to accept this teaching in regard to our pre-pandemic lives. For all the silver linings of what we have learned from the pandemic, to hold the future more lightly, to offer online access to online services and programs, isn't there still a lot we miss from life before COVID-19? Back in 2019 here at First Parish, we once stood shoulder to shoulder for coffee hour in the vestry. We ate and laughed, sang and called out across crowded rooms with no thought about aerosols. We mingled or watched quietly from a seat to the side. Young, old, visitors, long-timers. A social gathering of mixed people. A common, unremarkable experience, right? There has been so much loss since March of 2020. Yes, we have been resilient and we have learned to adapt, but we have also had to grieve the loss of a past that is gone. It is a grief that may not feel entirely resolved. This grief felt clear to me as I rewatched the slideshow we made to mark the 1-year anniversary of our shutdown. To the lyrics of "You Can Do This Hard Thing," the flow of photos you submitted included your kids sitting in front of laptops for school, lay ministers lighting candles at home, haircuts in backyards, and so very many socially distanced gatherings with friends and families. If you wish to watch it, a link to the slideshow was in this morning's e-blast. Watching it brings so much emotion. There were just so many hard things. It is also hard to believe that such events are starting to be shaded with tones of the past. We have to pause and again ask, wait, when are we? It is February 19, 2023. More than 3 years ago, in the 2019-2020 program year, we began the year normally, only to abruptly shut down and move entirely online with just a few of us in the sanctuary. We then remained entirely online for the entire program year of 2020-2021. Mid-year, Polly returned to the choir loft, and as folks were vaccinated, soloists also returned to the loft. Then, as a new program year began in the fall of 2021, we welcomed people back to the sanctuary after 18 months of online services. We developed multi-platform services with service participants both in person and online. For music, there was a mix of instrumentalists, soloists, and choral recordings until that spring, when the choir returned for Easter and Ken Sawyer's memorial service. Finally, only this year, 2022-23, have we shifted to service participants in person while maintaining a live stream format to folks online. 4 of the 9 years I have been your minister have been impacted by COVID. To be honest, it took research into emails and worship archives to recreate that list and those details. When I tried to do so by memory, it was a fog. Thinking it was just my COVID brain, I called a couple congregants for help. It was all a bit blurry to them too. It is all a bit blurry, a mush of memories of one day, 1 week, 1 month after another of making it through. In this way, the past is not neatly delineated from the present. Rather, it feels a bit like time lost its edges and we're still trying to figure out when we are. In my sermon for the 1-year anniversary of shutdown, I wrote a letter to the future congregation of First Parish in 2040 saying, "And while this story we're telling can highlight our resiliency and adaptation, such learning often came from a place of necessity and pain. Again and again, we did what we did because it was all we could do in an effort to approximate our heart's longings. No matter what changes from this year may remain in the coming years, they will have been insights born from a place of loss and longing." How much of that loss remains present with us now? How much are we grieving still, both the life we had in 2019 and the future we expected would be ours? How much are we still recovering from the hard things we went through in 2020 and 2021? Yes, the past is over. But as Thich Nhat Hanh says, we may say the past is already dead, but ultimately the truth is much deeper than that. The past is still here in the form of the present, end quote. Like the genetic material of our ancestors that remains part of us, Hanh is saying that the past remains in the present. So going deeply into the present, we can also meditate on the past. In other words, we can pay close attention to what remains now of the past and engage that. What experiences, values, hopes, dreams, fears, or longings we have felt in the past remain with us today? Are we aware of the ways that our past is still present with us here and now? What happens when we notice this? When we bring clarity to what is past and what is present? Are we able to recognize what is in fact now past? Time has been ridiculously blurry throughout COVID. My sense is that there is merit in trying to sort out when we are, to start sorting out past, present, and future, so that we might be able to be more present to the moments we are in. We are not in 2019, and we are not in 2020. It is 2023. The teens who were freshmen in March of 2020 are graduating this spring. 4 school years, 4 program years here at First Parish. Time has been passing, even if it has felt like a blur. Such passage of time is in fact a gift. As Thich Nhat Hanh writes, if things were not impermanent, growth would be impossible, and manifestation would be impossible. If things were not impermanent, you could not have children, and your children would never grow up. When you sow corn seeds, they would never be able to grow. They would remain corn seeds forever. Impermanence is the very heart of life. It makes life possible. Reject impermanence and you reject life. Life is ever-changing. To reject this is to miss the wonder of so much life as it evolves and changes around us. The flow of time is life. When are we? We are now, in a place we may not have expected. We are not in 2019 unaware of aerosols and quarantines. We are not in 2020 in a lockdown without vaccinations or targeted antivirals. Nor are we in 2021 or 22 learning how to navigate masking protocols and multi-platform tools for the first time. We are in 2023. We are in a moment where we are being asked to truly consider how to integrate the lessons of the past years into new ways of being together that will never hold the innocence of 2019. We are living in a landscape full of potholes from the losses of these past years, from the pandemic, from political divisions, from new reckonings with racism. These experiences of the past do remain part of the present, and the past is over. Can we be awake to the moment we are now in? I ask when we are, because it feels to me like we are waking up to the now after years being lost in a blur. Buddhist practice teaches us that in an impermanent world, we are only in this moment. The past is over, the future is not yet here. By going more deeply into this moment, perhaps we might just discover a way to be more alive, here and now, for ourselves and for others, and to the possibilities of what may yet manifest and become in the days to come. So may it be. Amen. Our closing hymn is Let It Be a Dance, and I think it couples with the Circle of Life the choir sang earlier. Both of these songs speak to that sense of time flowing and changing, and that there is joy and gifts in that. So please rise in body or in spirit as we sing hymn 311.
Just to note that the Read with the Rev book this month is Radical Dharma, which is sort of at the intersection of Buddhism and the fight for racial justice. There are 2 copies in the Commons. It's a kind of conversation book, so even if you only get to a chapter or 2, you're still in good shape. So grab one of those if you're interested in that, whether you can come Thursday to talk about it or not. Sustained by our connections to each other and to all that is holy, let us go and be beyond these walls, bringing more light and life, love and justice to our shared world. Amen.
Hello. I guess as once we start talking, they will